Good morning. Happy Thursday. I thought today was Friday, but it is Thursday. Okay, so happy Thursday. I had another topic that I wanted to talk about today, but I always let the Holy Spirit guide me. And today I just had this feeling that I needed to talk about this and that someone needed it. So I don't really have any notes. I just kind of have a smorgasbord of thoughts. So it's going to be pretty random. And I did kind of just write down some points so that I can stay focused because I don't want to go off on a crazy tangent. And so if you're here live and you're watching this live, say hi so that I know that you're here. I have my comments pulled up. And if you're watching this as a replay, hashtag IGA so that I know when you're watching this. Okay, so let me pull up some of my random thoughts. So what I wanted to talk about today, the topic of this, I believe I wrote, becoming a student will change your life. And the reason why I bring this topic up is for a lot of people who are feeling like they have these big desires and these big dreams in their life, but they're not able to achieve them. And they just feel like they are constantly running around in circles, either never getting to this new level or new desire, or they do get to these new levels in this desire, but it's like such a chaotic process. They don't honestly really know how they got there, or you feel like you get somewhere and this could be like a new job, a new level in your business, a healthy relationship, or whatever it may be, and you end up sabotaging it and just like bringing yourself like back down. So you're just caught in this vicious cycle when you literally just want to grow. You're like, I have dreams, I have vision, I have things I want to do, I just want to grow. So the question is to ask yourself, and this is also very important too in regards to business. A lot of times I see people that are like, oh my gosh, I want to achieve so much in their business, but just from like the words that they say and the way that they're writing to me, I know that there's other areas in their life that are needing attention in order for them to be able to hold and become this new thing. So if you are feeling like, this is you, then this little mini brain dump is hopefully going to help you. So I want to preface this by saying that the world wants something new. This is something that I've been talking about with my friends more specifically since like 2017, really a lot in 2019, that the world wants something different. We don't want to struggle and, be burnt out, to constantly be doing. I see so many people, which I always speak from my experience of things I've overcome, where you just jump from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And like, you don't give yourself any space in between. And then before you know it, the whole day has gone by. And now like the whole year has gone by and you weren't present for any of it. You're in a constant state of doing. So around 2017, between 2019, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, the earth energetically was ascending to a more feminine nature and a more feminine structure. So I knew that a lot of women were going to be put in places of power, but that power was going to be visually distorted in the essence of not allowing the divine feminine energy to flow through the balance of being like a goddess and being, and your intuition and your natural creativity and things of that nature. It was going to be distorted to a place where it was super like masculine, do, right? Because energetically, if the earth is ascending to a feminine sort of energy space, what does everything happen? What usually happens is that they try to distort that. I say that to say that if you are living a life where you are trying to prove, you are trying to earn your worth, you are trying to work hard to validate yourself in order to just receive, you may get some level of success, but it's always going to feel like you're pushing a rock up the hill, or it's just not going to work, because the earth and the energy of the earth, the energy of the world, is not conducive to that. So I always say as you are ascending, as you are evolving, as you're growing, either shift or be shifted. So wouldn't you rather shift? So I say that to say that if you are trying to achieve another level of life, then you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to change. There is an art to changing. Like, you even have to learn how we think. And this was something that I discovered because as a consultant, I usually did stuff for people. And switching over to actually trying to teach people how to do what I do, I didn't realize that, because I wasn't a teacher, I've never, done anything like this before, that I had to learn that people have different learning styles. And so that's when I discovered, I'm like, there's visual, there's auditory, there's kinesthetic. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this stuff. So if you carry and embody the energy of being a student for the rest of your life, this is what's going to allow you to change and to unlock the next level that you desire to be at. You have to learn how to learn. You have to learn how to think. You have to learn how to change. Like, change just doesn't happen overnight. Like, you have to learn what that looks like for you. If you are in a place where you're requiring a level of discipline and focus, like, those are skills that you have to learn. So a lot of times people get so down on themselves because it's like, I can't stay disciplined, I can't stay focused, and it's really hard for me. But it's like, did you know that that was a skill? Did you know that you actually you can teach, like, if you weren't naturally born with that, you have to teach yourself discipline, you have to teach yourself focus. And then there's different ways in which you can do that. But if you don't have the student mindset, and it's also kind of like childlike curiosity, childlike wonder, right? If you're not asking questions, if you're not saying like how or why, then like, how can you get to the next level of your life? And this is why they always say, like, keep your childlike energy. Like, obviously not childish. Childlike and childish are two different things, because kids ask why, they ask how. So if it's like the kid is like, well, I'm trying to unlock this new level so that I can cross the monkey bars. They're going to ask how. They're going to ask why. They're going to learn. They're going to observe. They're going to pay attention. We lose that as we grow and become adults. We lose that curiosity. So as you're trying to unlock another level in your relationship, as you're trying to unlock another level in your business, you forget to ask those questions. You just kind of see, you're not observing, you're just looking, and you're like, why is everyone else succeeding? And why am I not? So it becomes this sort of like outside of me blaming type of situation, instead of being like, what are they doing? How did they learn that? How do I learn that? And start to ask the right questions. So embodying a student for life type of energy is one thing. Just having that perspective, having that mindset, having that expectation and shift is going to help you. Because as I was learning to change, I had naturally, I'm going to preface this by saying that I am a natural disciplined person. I am a finisher. So I am the person that you call if you need the project to be finished. A lot of people sometimes try to glorify being the king or queen of 90%, but that's if you don't ever finish anything, I don't personally think that that's good. I finish stuff. There's times where things change and I know that this is no longer good for me, but I see things through to the end. And it's also kind of part of my trial and error nature, where I have to test a lot of things. I have to finish things. I have to experiment with things to see what works and see what doesn't. So I will preface to say that I have that as a natural tendency within me, but I still had to also build discipline. I struggle with focus. So I had to build focus. So I had to go and I had to research and I had to Google and I had to go to YouTube Academy and I had to learn, what is focus? How do you create focus? How do you develop focus? To the point now where I am way more focused than I was years ago. And I'm constantly evolving and constantly working on my level of focus. So if you want to change, you have to learn how to change. How does change happen? Okay, because again, it's not enough to just have these desires and have these wants and these things, because if we're not able to do the things that actually get us there, it's like I said, you're going to be stuck in this cycle of I'm spinning my wheels and I'm not getting there, or I get there and then self-sabotage, right? So when you can slow down and become a student and observe your life, observe how you are able to then fix the things that need, or I would say address the things that need to be addressed so that you can heal. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. Like I said, whatever reason, the Holy Spirit was like, this is what you need to talk about today. So practical, let me actually pause. So if you also find that you will experience where you finally get to the next level, but you self-sabotage and you bring yourself down, that is a upper limit issue. That is an issue that sometimes deals with your worth and your confidence. And do I deserve this? I'm not worthy of this. This is unnatural for me. This doesn't feel good. Can I sustain this? That plays into safety and trust. It could also play into your nervous system, where your nervous system doesn't know how to operate in stability. So it needs to go, back to the chaotic roller coaster. But if you don't stop to observe, to pay attention, to be a student, to ask why these things are happening, and develop that mindset where you're going to learn how to ask these questions, you're not going to be able to figure any of that stuff out. I used to suffer from upper limit problems. Most of them came from my self-worth and confidence. So I said, oh my gosh, okay, well, what is self-worth and confidence? I need to fix that. Because I was raised to believe that self-worth and confidence came from comparing myself to other people and making myself feel like I was better than them. Even though that's never who I was, that's just how I was raised. So I had to untangle that and discover where my confidence came from, where my personal power comes from, where my trust comes from. I had to learn that I grew up with a very traumatized nervous system, a nervous system that lived in extreme highs and lows, right? To know that actually what safety and stability looks like is the space in between. I talked about this before, where my life now for the last 3 years has been learning to be at peace in the ebbs and flows of the space in between, instead of on the extreme high and extreme low and opposite. Like, I didn't want to do that anymore. But if I did not develop this curious mindset and reactivate my childlike wonder, I would not have been able to ask the questions that allowed me to discover what I'm discovering today. It's not enough to hold the dream and, like they say, like, well, you have to have this big why. You have to have this why, which is a part of it. But if you are not doing all the other things to support that, big why or your vision or your dream, it falls short. So the question is practical applications on how. How can you do this? So for me, I always talk about this, and it's kind of like a small version of the bigger picture, but it really is a combination of taking care of your mind, body, and soul. When I went on this healing journey, I started with my mind, because if I believe that my thoughts create my reality, what I was thinking, what was going on up here was not it, okay? I did always have a sense of spirituality. I did always have a sense of soul. I did always kind of have a sense of that there was something above me, but I didn't have a definition of my faith at the time. I just knew there was a lot of chaos in my mind. I just knew that it was like hell in my mind. I was creating hell on earth for myself with the thoughts that I was thinking. And if I believed that my thoughts create my reality, I had to start there. This is me personally. So I did a lot of mindset work. Cognitive behavioral therapy, reprogramming the subconscious mind, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, real life therapy, emotional intelligence therapy, just really reprogramming, looking at the things that are in my mind, the beliefs that I have, and removing what doesn't serve me and replacing it with what does serve me. So you can kind of go back and watch some of the other videos where I talk about that. So that was kind of the starting point, right? And here's the thing, I don't know. I haven't put words to what does it really take for the light bulb to click and you're like, this is not going to be my life anymore. My only conclusion that I have is that when you truly hit rock bottom is what it takes to catapult you into being like, okay, I'm not, like, something isn't working. This isn't my life. And when you hit rock bottom, you are in a state of surrender where you're like, I just give up. Like, this, show me a better way, because what I'm doing, it doesn't work. And I believe that you don't have to hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom for you, so you don't have to. Like, there's so many people that hit rock bottom for us so that we don't have to. But unfortunately, in order for that catalyst sometimes to change, most people need to hit rock bottom for it to change. I don't believe that has to be the way. I pray that people don't have to experience that and go through that. But everyone's journey is different. But when that switch happens and you're like, this isn't going to be my life, then this is when the change starts to happen. And that, for me, it was hitting rock bottom and realizing what the F is going on. God, I surrender. Show me a better way. So I started with my mind, and then I evolved to work on my soul, my spirit, my faith. That's when I got baptized, started to follow Jesus, started to faith walk, started to understand what it's like to be in a relationship with God. I moved to my soul. I am now in the third part, which is my body. Listening to my body, trusting my body, feeling my body, breaking off the paradigm of what society has done to distort me from being connected to my body, my physical vessel. At the end of the day, you can have all the mindset work, all the soul work, all the spiritual work, but we still have to respect the fact that we're in a body. Body needs nourishment. This body needs sleep. This body needs care. This body is an electric magnetic machine that's constantly, creating things in your reality. So mind, body, and soul. Now, then the practical application of how you can apply all of this to start to change your life. And you can go through a lot of my old videos, but I'm going to literally talk about this because if I'm telling you, healing your mind, body, and soul does not have to take long. It doesn't. You can literally pull the root of something that doesn't serve you. And when you pull the root of something, it fixes everything else around it. Journaling. Reflection. That is a major key to your growth. If you don't know where you've been, then you can't really understand where you're at, and it's going to be really hard to get to where you're going. Journaling doesn't have to be like, journaling isn't like, dear diary, today, XYZ, ABC. That's not. Journaling is a tool, a key for reflection, a tool to see your growth, a tool to see your today is a blessing. I always say this, today is a day that I prayed for. Years ago, I was in so much pain, in so much turmoil from my rock bottom that I just prayed to feel the peace that I'm feeling today. If I did not practice the habit of reflection and journaling, then the attitude of gratitude would not be able to sink deep into my essence, into my being. I don't write 10 things that I'm grateful for every day. That's how I started. That's how my journaling started, to just practice, to get into the habit, right? Repetition is where change happens. But as I discovered what journaling can do, the power of journaling, I was able to use it as a tool to help me reflect. And I would say just reflect. I reflect in multiple different ways. Either I'm writing in my journal, pen to paper, or I am texting or typing like in my notes, so that I can, sometimes the thoughts are just going so much, I want to get it out. Or I am doing voice note recordings. So when my thoughts are just firing off and the downloads are just firing off, I generally sometimes jump to the voice note recordings and just talk it all out to get it out. Like I talked about yesterday, sometimes you have to give life to the thoughts inside your head that are serving your growth. But without doing that, I'm not able to see my blessings. I'm not able to see my growth. I'm not able to see that today is an answered prayer. I'm not able to see what I need to fix or see what I need to change. I'm not able to see how far I've come. I'm not able to maintain a state of gratitude, to maintain a state of peace and appreciation. I am not able to also step boldly into my desires, to see what's holding me back. I'm not able to be curious if I'm not able to get it out and process and reflect. And another thing that reflection does for you, journaling, text to talk, or voice notes, or whatever your process is that it makes space in your brain. We can't try to think things in our head and think and solve it in our head. They have to get out. I'm telling you guys, I have journals for so many things. I have my composition notebook, which is literally just filled with scribble, scrabble, brain dump, thoughts that I have. Okay. And then I rotate 3 different journals. This is my, personal journal where it's my thoughts And then these are one of my business journals. This is kind of like my journal where I'm, discovering and learning things about sales. And this is like a journal where I'm just kind of discovering and learning things about business. I am constantly getting things out of my head. If you want to have mental freedom and mental clarity, you have to get stuff out of your head. It can't just live there. It needs a home. Whether it is voiced out into the universe so that it can, be set free, whether it is through, like I said, typing or notes or whatever the case is, your thoughts want to be set free. So I say this to say, please pick up the art, practice the art of reflection. It is so powerful, and it is literally going to set you free. It's going to open up the catalyst for you to be able to appreciate your mind, body, and soul. A lot of times people ask me, how do I have such a deep relationship with God? And how do I hear him so much? And how have I learned how to discern his voice? This didn't happen overnight. I have journals 5-6 years back that I can look and see where my relationship was with God back then and what I was praying for and what I was asking for to where it is now. But because I have that history, I know where I've been, which helps me understand where I'm at, which gives me a roadmap to where I want to go. If I don't know any of these things, I'm trying to keep it all locked in my head. I'm telling you, set your mind free. Unlock and reawaken your childlike curiosity. This is how you change your life. Become a student again of life. Observe life, take notes on life, ask questions about life, learn about life. If you don't know a word, Google it, look it up. If you don't know how to do something, how to change, how to feel confident, how to overcome self-sabotage, look it up. Because so many people have achieved what we are wanting to do so that we don't have to hit rock bottom to change. The desire to change is enough. But if we're not realizing that we have to learn how to change, learn how to step into these desires, then you're going to constantly be on this hamster wheel of feeling stuck and feeling like, why can't I get to what I want? So hopefully this has helped you. If you know anyone that is kind of in this place where they constantly feel stuck and they're wanting to figure out the practical tools of how to move to the next level, then, tag them or add them to this group, invite them to this group, and tag them in this video. So hopefully this helps you. Like I said, I don't know why, but this is what the Holy Spirit wanted me to talk about today. I had something totally different, but I just felt in my chest that someone needed to hear this. Someone needed this. So hopefully it is you. Hopefully it is resonating with you, and hopefully you watching this is, something that's going to help you. So happy Thursday. I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day. And by the grace of God, I will see you tomorrow.